domination. Capture and hold the objective. Securing Alpha. We've got Alpha. We've got control.
Got them!
Securing B. We captured Bravo. The enemy at the train tracks in B.
I'm reloading! Running low!
Taking shots. Stand by.
I'm reloading!
We control the battlefield. Enemy at the warehouse. Team at Charlie. Friendly UAV online. The enemy at the train tracks. Enemies at Charlie. Go! Enemies at Charlie. We're holding two. We have the advantage. Taking Charlie. Stand by. Friendly UAV online. We're losing Alpha. Assist your team at Bravo. Securing Charlie. We control the battlefield. Friendly precision airstrike on the way. You're needed at sea. Enemy at the cargo container. Friendly care package inbound. Losing Alpha. Enemy in the shipping area. Enemies have Alpha. Securing Charlie. We're halfway there. Keep fighting. We capture Charlie. Allied cruise missile away. Bravo, go. We are taking Alpha. Two objectives secure. You're needed at Charlie. I'm hit! Taking Alpha, stand by. We control the battlefield. Losing Charlie. Enemy UAV overhead.
Station is good. Real good.
Enemy at the warehouse. The enemy is a train track. Friendly UAV online. We're losing Alpha. Enemy to my car. System team at Alpha.
Over.
Allied cruise missile away. Enemy in the woods. Enemy cluster strike incoming. Take cover. Friendly UAV online. You're needed at B. Two objectives secure. Enemy in the woods.
Setting a charge.
You're needed at charge. We've got this. Friendly people jet on station. Losing Bravo. Have Bravo. You scored a victory. Let's have another.
Here we go. On track.
Domination. Capture and hold the objectives. Securing A. Setting clear. Alpha secure. Go.
Prevent everything.
Move in. Enemy personal radar overhead. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy UAV overhead. Assist your team at Alpha.
Oh, shit.
Enemy near Main Street. Enemy near Main Street. Enemy personal radar overhead. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy at the red. Charlie. Assist your team at Alpha. Enemy cluster strike. Take cover. We are losing. Retake those points. We're out of charge. Enemy at the red. Securing Charlie. Enemy VTOL in the AO. Capture Charlie. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy at the red. Enemy UAV overhead. They have to retake those objectives. They've reached the halfway point. Get moving. Enemy UAV overhead. We're taking out. Enemy taking Charlie. We're losing. Retake those points. Securing B. Securing A. We captured Alpha. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy chopper gunner on approach. Two objectives lost. Enemy cruise missile. Enemy personal radar overhead.
Another VTOL on station, ready to deploy.
Horseman 3-1 arriving on station, ready for tasking.
Demon 8. Chopper gunner ready. Rest your wounds. We return soon.
A long ass one, bro.
Just go to like an LA chat or the
Então,
conversation.
Morgans e Snowfield, que é novo obviamente para mim, ou Ranazar, mais para mim,
T'en as-tu?
ouais j'en ai un,
C'est lui qui donne quoi?
Lazar 1 MW,
Ok, mettons, il y en a qui font que tu lises plus vite, mais que t'as moins de recoil, mettons, ou t'as plus de recoil, genre.
ok,
Ils ont comme des avantages et des désavantages. Fait que tu peux en prendre qui fait que tu lises fucking vite. Toute l'équipe, t'as plein d'items sur ton gun qui fait que tu lises vite. Genre, pis tu tires bien nos scopes, mettons, pour rusher, mais que ton gun a quasiment plus de recoil, genre. Fait qu'il m'a checké, moi, qu'est-ce que t'as mis, si ça a du sens, là, pis...
Domination. Control the objectives. We're taking Alpha. We're holding Alpha.
They're down!
We're losing Bravo. Enemies have Bravo.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais là?
We're taking Charlie.
Non, il fait pas que je suis là, il regardait, man. Bon, il y a du monde qui joue comme des pouces à jeu, là, comme pas dit.
Enemy at the freight elevator. They control 2 objectives. We are losing ground. Taking Bravo, stand by. Securing Charlie. Enemy UAV overhead.
Là.
Bravo. Bravo secure. We're taking Charlie. Enemy in the back alley.
Send a thing.
Losing Alpha.
Enemy at the train.
We're in control.
That's really nice.
Securing Charlie. Losing Alpha. We've lost Alpha. Enemy VTOL jet in the AO. Charlie secure. We're losing Bravo.
Nice, man.
We've lost Bravo.
J'espère qu'il arrive à tirer pas sur le champagne.
Securing A.
Enemy demand.
Allied ships sail away.
I know.
Enemy holds all objectives. We're holding Alpha. Enemy UAV overhead.
T'es sûr, man, de regarder ailleurs, le stack. Il va tout moi faire dessus, man. Je suis tranquille,
We're taking Bravo. Friendly UAV online. We're taking Bravo. Securing Bravo. They control 2 objectives.
Fait qu'il y a comme ça.
Friendly VTOL jet on station.
Enemy in the cargo container.
We're holding 2. We have the enemy UAV overhead. Allied taking the lead. Securing Charlie. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy personal radar online. We're losing Bravo. We're losing Bravo.
Enemy at the shower.
Enemy VTOL jet in the AO. We're halfway there. Keep fighting. Friendly UAV online.
First all the stuff, really? Okay. Hey, let me just one over, no? Where else are you waiting? Oh, man, okay.
Allied cluster strike inbound. We're losing Bravo.
Let's go.
We've lost Bravo.
Big move, man.
Enemy UAV overhead.
I see.
Ah, yeah.
What, percent?
Enemy in the train.
Ça va filer en train de jouer, là?
Friendly UAV online.
Nah,
Objectives. We are losing ground.
she ain't gonna bite nobody.
Taking Bravo.
What's up, man?
What's up, bro? Is it you said stove in hood?
The vent fan and the toilet, the When you flush it, the thing came off.
Losing A.
Yeah, that's all I need. Okay.
We've lost Alpha. Allied cluster strike inbound. You're needed at
Just
Bravo.
throw it out.
Allied cruise missile away.
Talk to the room.
Oh, motherfucker.
Securing Alpha. Enemy UAV overhead. Our enemy has the lead.
Enemy at the roof.
Taking Alpha. You're taking Alpha.
Enemy at the micro.
Alpha secure. Enemy UAV overhead. Securing Charlie. You're needed at
Ah, mais
Alpha.
comme je te disais tantôt, il y a plein de sites stats qui peuvent changer qu'est-ce que ton homme fait. C'est pas juste du
You're
recoil,
needed
puis
at
du
Alpha.
plein d'entrailles, puis de apprendre.
Stand by.
Enemy at the
Capture
right
Charlie. They're
Ton
taking
gars, avec les
Alpha.
engagements peuvent complètement différents dans nos guns. Là. Ben, qui est le même en fait.
Enemy at the
Enemy
warehouse.
VTOL yet in the AO. We've lost Charlie.
Oh non!
The enemy at the train tracks.
Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy sensors active. Control 2 objectives. We are losing ground. Enemy losing Alpha. Enemy helo on approach. Friendly UAV online.
The enemy at the train tracks.
Enemies at Alpha, go. Enemy advanced UAV. Friendly people, you're taking Charlie. Get those positions. We're being dumped. We're falling behind. Regroup.
Advanced UAV, c'est UAV que tu vois dans les flèches en haut, c'est exactement le gars qui apparaît.
Enemy at the back alley.
Learn from the loss, Tovarish. We adapt or die.
Enemy at the train tracks.
Je pense qu'on a dit qu'il y a
ППЖ. Мы готовы заканчивать. Доложите обстановку. Надо обеспечить дополнительную охрану мотив. Выполняем.
Have our first target. Move out. Reload. HQ is green. Get the move on. Enemy in their main grid. Reloading. Contact! Reloading! Allied UAV overhead.
Put it down, your range fan replaced.
Thank you, thank you.
You getting a new one? Like the update?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I just updated mine last night.
Me too. Y'all be playing?
Yeah.
Send me an invite.
What's your name?
Venom 315555.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on, bro.
I got 5 5s. So it's Venom 31 with 5 5s.
I'm gonna add you. Venom
31.
1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so Venom 315555, right?
Yep, 5 5s.
I'm gonna add you today. It'll be like sequential 90.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Hey.
I'll see you on mesh now, you know.
Alright, both of y'all in.
Yeah, we have a good night.
We have taken the HQ. HQ moving soon. Get ready. Enemy in their main. HQ established. Allied advanced UAV overhead. Friendly VTOL on station. HQ is online. Secure it. Enemy on the HQ. Move in. The enemy has captured the HQ. Contested. HQ contested. Shutting down the enemy HQ. Allied UAV overhead. HQ secure. Get ready. Move soon. Allied UAV overhead. Enemy care package inbound. Enemy in the local map. Allied UAV overhead. HQ is green. Get the move on. Enemy movement! Securing the HQ. Enemy at the construction site.
Enemy personal radar overhead. HQ's ours. No reinforcements available.
Playground.
Enemies here.
Enemy near Main Street.
Enemy counter UAV. Lost radar.
Enemy at the construction.
Enemy is trying to shut down our enemy cruise missile. No reinforcements available. HQ shut down. Regroup. 10 seconds. Get ready to move. Get to the next HQ.
Enemy at the center. Enemy near Main Street.
HQ active. Secured. HQ contested. Enemy on the HQ. Move in. Allied UAV overhead. Enemy UAV overhead.
Enemy at the hotel. Enemy at the laundromat.
We have lost the HQ. Enemy cruise missile. HQ. We're disabling the HQ. They've reached the halfway point. Get moving. We have taken the HQ. 10 seconds. Get ready to move.
Barbershop.
Get to the next HQ. Enemy personal radar overhead.
Enemy at the construction site.
HQ active. Move to secure. Move in. HQ contested. Allied UAV overhead. They're capturing the HQ. Go. HQ contested.
Enemy at the campus.
Enemy personal radar overhead. Enemy on the HQ. Move in. The enemy has captured the HQ. Contested.
Enemy at the
HQ. HQ captured. 10 seconds. Get ready to move. Friendly Eagle on position for Overwatch. Get to the next HQ. Get the move on. Enemy on the HQ, move in.
Enemy in the lumber.
Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy cluster strike. Take cover. Allied UAV overhead.
Enemy in the center.
Friendly VTOL on station for Overwatch. HQ is ours. No reinforcements. HQ contested.
Fucking kid.
He's trying to shut down on
Oh, fuck,
1
I
minute remaining.
understand.
Our window's closing. Move quickly.
Enemy at the
Enemy
construction
UAV
site.
overhead. Enemy personal radar overhead. Perimeter breach. Defend the HQ. We can't send reinforcements yet. Hold for the next wave. They disabled the HQ. Reinforcements inbound. Get ready. We move soon.
Enemy at the laundromat.
Get to the next HQ. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy cruise missile. Enemy personal radar overhead. HQ is green. Get the move on. They're capturing the HQ. Go. HQ lost. Enemy counter UAV. We've lost radar. 30 seconds. Outside. Move. HQ contested. We're disabled. Location secured. Allied UAV overhead. HQ moving soon. Get ready. Get to the next HQ.
Enemy near Main Street.
Friendly VTOL on station for Overwatch. Enemy UAV overhead. HQ is online. Secure it. They hit hard. Good. We will remember.
Enemy near Main Street.
Oh my god. Fucking hell. Take out shoes. Relaxation.
Stop the 1 KIA. 4 station. 1-1, right still in the house. Approach the street. Approaching on the third.
Workers. They never complain, they never give up. And that really inspires me when I try to run a small business.
This.
But he knew he was going to get exonerated, and all Joe Biden has been doing for the last 3 or 4 months is defending his son. And he looks like a swamp creature in doing so, because his son was obviously involved in stuff that was kind of sleazy, maybe not illegal.
And he's not the world's best campaigner, which has happened in 2 other prior runs. But let me ask you a little bit about the money guys, because he was imploring them to stay with him and all that. You say they're going to stay with him through at least South Carolina.
That's what they're telling me. Now, who knows?
Because Super Tuesday, of course, where you have 1,357 delegates at stake, a third of the prize.
Right.
I mean, that you get a percentage of that. You're still in the race.
But you're still in the race. You could be still in the race anyway,
right.
And then the money dries up. I mean, this is kind of a fluid situation, and there's other people that are now, other candidates now, that are vying for that moderate, wing of the party that look pretty strong.
By the way, doesn't that look tough for Bloomberg because of that?
Yes, I think Bloomberg's problem is that in the Democratic Party, where you have activists that are very progressive, that he's looked upon as buying the election, and I don't think you can have a billionaire buying the election in the Democrat. Republicans wouldn't care less. I'm just telling you, and Wall Street Democrats couldn't care less, but they're not the activist base. So I think Mike Bloomberg has a harder road than most people give him credit for. I think last night when I talked to people with the surprises, Amy Klobuchar looks like an alternative now on the moderate wing. Buttigieg looks pretty strong. If they would like Bernie to fade and maybe Buttigieg to get in there, but they're still not sold on Bloomberg being able to do this, just because the optics look really bad. Again, if he were a Republican, no one would care. He's a Democrat. I mean, he's running. The progressive wing of the party is very strong, very vocal. Can you imagine if he literally buys the election, doesn't show up to a debate or barely shows up to a debate? What that convention...
What does that say about the party, though, that some in the establishment of the party are more open and willing to do that than to give this nomination to Bernie Sanders.
Listen, we've reported this in the past about President Obama. The two establishment figures in the Democratic Party right now are Hillary Clinton and President Obama, and they're both, from what I understand, people have spoken with them, they're both like up in arms that this party is going to the Bernie Sanders route, which, okay, they're both liberals.
They think it's a sure way to defeat.
Sure way to defeat, and he's a bridge too far on his policies. He's a socialist.
All right, you're talking about Bernie Sanders.
Yes, not you.
All right, I'm putting it down as a maybe on Bernie Sanders. All right, thank you very, very much. Charlie Gasparino, great reporting on that. Michael Bloomberg, by the way, still in it to win it with a $90 million ad buy on Super Tuesday alone. 3 weeks from today, we'll probably find out whether it was money well spent.
This program is sponsored by Duluth Trading. Tough, ingenious workwear designed and tested by tradesmen.
What average underwear feels like. What Duluth Buck Naked underwear feels like. Duluth Trading Buck Naked underwear. Get the most comfortable underwear there is. Only at Duluth stores and DuluthTrading.com.
Old Dominion has ranked #1 in overall performance 10 years straight. Customers trust OD for damage-free deliveries. They like seeing everything in real time with 100% visibility to every aspect of their shipment. Bottom line, OD is #1 in performance because of our people, who consider every shipment a promise and who never stop working toward perfection. Old Dominion, helping the world keep promises.
All his life, Jimmy's dog had a not-so-secret obsession, Jimmy's wallet.
Not again, Buttercup.
Which caused Jimmy to get in some unfortunate situations.
Hey, this has been chewed. Like, who chewed this?
This works less than my lazy grandson.
Until Jimmy found Clear. Now, all Jimmy needs to move through the world is Jimmy. So Jimmy can spend less time waiting in line at the airport and more time with the ones that matter most. Enroll today at clearme.com.
He's a systems quarterback.
Where's the truck?
What? Parked it right there.
What did I tell you, boys? Tonight we eat like kings. Ah, you're a genius, Gordon. Brake? Hit the brake.
Which one's the brake?
Stop! 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 What's happening? What? There's a half a cheesesteak back there.
With Geico, the savings keep on going, just like this sequel. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I got the cheesesteak!
Now, there's real power in travel. It's a two-sided thing. First is what it does to yourself, because it does give you experiences of other cultures and other people. But also, it lets other people experience you. And I think it helps make us kinder.
Viking, exploring the world in comfort.
When it comes to using data, everyone is different, which is why Xfinity Mobile created a different kind of wireless network. One that saves you money by letting you design your own data, giving you more choice and control compared to other top wireless carriers. Now you can choose unlimited, shared data, or mix lines of each and switch any line anytime. No one else lets you do that. Design your own data with Xfinity Mobile. It's wireless reimagined. Simple, easy, awesome.
The other candidates have just spent a year in just a couple of states, and it's very little time that they have for every place else, including Tennessee. And I don't think that that's good for our country or for our party. There are 50 states, and I'm determined to go to all 50 states. Because if you're going to reunite this country, you might as well unite all of the country.
Well, Michael Bloomberg in Chattanooga, Tennessee today. That's one of the Super Tuesday states he is banking on after skipping Iowa and New Hampshire. It's a strategy that hasn't always played out well. Think Rudy Giuliani back in 2008, Al Gore in 1988. The read from McClatchy White House reporter Francesca Chambers. Francesca, he is banking on the other guys sort of stumbling over each other. He emerges as sort of an alternative figure who scores big points, urban areas, some of the urban states, the states that he is spent a lot of time in. Super Tuesday offers a third of those delegates that are needed to capture the nomination. How well does he do?
Well, he's not the only one, Neil, really making that argument anymore. You have Joe Biden and also Elizabeth Warren, who are saying, you know what, Iowa and New Hampshire, they don't really matter that much. They're just 2 states. They have all these other states that are yet to vote. And so that's really a similar argument as to what Bloomberg is making. You add South Carolina and Nevada to that. There are several candidates now who are banking on this Super Tuesday strategy and saying, look, the number of delegates that's up that day is so much higher than these early states. If we can just do well there, then we can stay in this thing. But of course, Neil, not everybody can stay in this thing past March. Someone's going to eventually have to drop out.
And some have been dropping out, to your point, from Andrew Yang to John Delaney to Deval Patrick. So it's filling up. Michael Bennet, the Colorado senator. I'm beginning to wonder that the fact that Amy Klobuchar emerged to the degree she did, Mayor Pete emerged to the degree that he did, that the Bernie alternative lane might already be filled, and Bloomberg might not be that guy. What do you think?
Well, he could also be an alternative to those other candidates that you just mentioned that are more in the moderate lane there. And I think that's more what, in some places, what he's aiming to do. Well, certainly he is playing up some more progressive policies in states like California. But as to whether or not it's filled or not, I think what you saw last night in New Hampshire is that there's still a battle that's going on within that moderate lane. Pete Buttigieg emerging as the front runner of that moderate lane, but Amy Klobuchar really hanging in there in a way that was quite unexpected and beating expectations, really, and showing that she's still in it, too. And then, again, Joe Biden counting on South Carolina here.
You know, when I was up in New Hampshire, as I was in Iowa, I got the feeling from a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters that they think something's going to be taken away from them, that the party higher-ups are getting worried that he's percolating and that they're going to get burned. And they're ready for that. They hear whisperings of dispensing with this rule that the superdelegates can't vote on a first ballot, letting them go ahead and vote on a first ballot. I would imagine that would create party civil war, but what do you think?
So you might be hearing that from Bernie Sanders supporters, but certainly the campaign has backed off that line of argument this time because Bernie Sanders is seen as having to do one really big thing here in order to become the front runner but also the nominee of this party, and that is prove that he can unite Democrats and that he's not going to get sucked into these intra-party wars that will cause Democrats to lose against Donald Trump in the general election. So he's not making that argument. His campaign is not making that argument specifically, although his supporters might be.
Yeah, they are. We'll see what happens. You're right. It's still way early in the process. Only about 2 to 3% of all the delegates that are up for grabs have already been counted. So that gives you an idea of where we're going. Thank you very much, my friend. In the meantime, the CDC telling Americans to sort of get a lay of the land here. This issue over there, the coronavirus, it could still be an issue over here after this.
Attention, anyone on Medicare. Did you know you may now be eligible for additional Medicare-approved benefits, including dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage? Just call the toll-free number on your screen now to see if you qualify. The Medicare Benefits and Questions line is now open to help anyone on Medicare make sure you are getting the benefits you deserve. Just call 800-454-1178 now to find out if you're eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan that includes additional benefits like free hearing aids, free eyeglasses, free meal delivery, and free rides to medical appointments. You may also be eligible for $0 monthly premiums, $0 deductibles, or no copays. Just call the toll-free number on your screen now to see if you qualify for additional benefits. There is no obligation to enroll. The call and Medicare benefits review are absolutely free. Did you know you may be eligible for additional benefits with a Medicare Advantage plan that includes additional benefits like dental, vision, hearing, hearing, and prescription drug coverage? The Medicare Benefits and Questions line is now open to help anyone on Medicare make sure you are getting the benefits you deserve. Just call 800-454-1178 now to find out if you're eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan that includes additional benefits like free hearing aids, free eyeglasses, free meal delivery, and free rides to medical appointments. You may also be eligible for $0 monthly premiums, $0 deductibles, or no copays. Just call the toll-free number on your screen now to see if you qualify for additional benefits, including dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drugs. There is no obligation to enroll. The call and Medicare benefits review are absolutely free. Just call 800-454-1178. 800-454-1178.
All right, is the president trying to strong-arm the balance of justice here? We didn't think it'd take very long for Democratic candidates to respond. Pete Buttigieg is now saying that the president's interference with the prosecution of Roger Stone is dangerous. More to this.
And Doug.
And now, for their service to the community, we present Limu Imu and Doug with this key to the city.
It's an honor to tell you that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. And now, we need to get back to work. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
America is built on diverse views, different ways of doing the same thing. But we all agree we need climate solutions while meeting our rising demand for cleaner energy. When we work together on the big issues, we make progress. Like how we're importing less energy today, thanks to the partnerships made by America's natural gas and oil companies. Together, we'll ensure a brighter future with the power of American energy.
You bet they were happy. Passengers aboard the Westerdam cruise ship applauding getting approval to finally dock somewhere in Cambodia after being refused multiple ports entry over the coronavirus. This says at least 11 out of 13 people are confirmed dead. Fox News' Jonathan Sari in Atlanta with more on what we're learning now. Jonathan.
Hi, Neil. Well, there are several hundred Americans on board the Westerdam, which left a port in Hong Kong on February 1st.
We are just getting started.
Biden counting on more diverse Democratic electorates in Nevada and South Carolina to help give his campaign a much-needed jolt.
Vice President Biden has been in this race the candidate who's been able to rally that support, build that coalition. These are the voters that we're going to need to turn out to beat Donald Trump.
And after poor performances in Iowa and New Hampshire, Joe Biden is looking to reassure donors about his path forward. He held a conference call with those donors today. He told them that his campaign is in good shape financially, and his team expects the former vice president's connection with African-American voters will help deliver him a win, Jake, sooner rather than later.
All right, Ryan Nobles, thanks so much. Paul Begala, let's start with you. Is Sanders the candidate to beat? I mean, I think he's pretty much the front runner. He leads in votes, he leads in fundraising, he leads in national polling. He is the only one of the three who did well in New Hampshire who has support among African American and Latino voters, at least as of now.
He's a weak front runner, though. It's a weak win.
Front runner?
A win's a win, and you got to give him credit. But let me put it this way. If I had told you 2 weeks ago that Elizabeth Warren would collapse down to 9%, and I told you that New Hampshire turnout would increase 18%, you wouldn't believe that Bernie Sanders didn't get a single point out of that. The day of the Iowa caucuses, Bernie was polling at precisely 26.5%.
And that's what he won. Yeah.
He won. No, that was in New Hampshire. They got 26.5.
Right.
And he got 25.8 now. So despite Elizabeth falling, I would have said, I thought the function was as Warren went down, Bernie went up. It didn't happen. I thought as more voters came in, Bernie went up. This is not a party looking for a revolution. I'm telling you, if you look at Pete, if you look at Amy, they're not running on a revolutionary ticket, and they're moving quickly. They gained 10 points in the last week.
And if you look at, I just want to come to you on this because I know that this is the Democratic establishment point of view. No offense, but like that, if you combine the vote in New Hampshire of Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Biden, it adds up to more more than the vote for Sanders and Warren, the more progressive candidates.
That's absolutely true. And look, I am one who believes that this primary is going to go long, and it's going to be a lot of back and forth of voters trying to decide who they really believe can beat Donald Trump, but also trying to remind Bernie we're not democratic socialists, by the way, right? And he's got a job to do. He's trying to talk about unity and building a broad coalition. I just don't know if most of the party is going to buy it. He's going to have his chance to make the case. We'll see.
Yet at the debate, when the candidates were asked that question, are you nervous about democratic socialists? Only one had the courage to raise their hand.
Right. Well, they're all. But this is part of the problem. They're afraid of his base. That's part of the problem.
You know,
I've seen that movie.
We used to sit around in 2016 and do the same math.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You know, Donald Trump, we only got 30-something%, and we add these together, and we add these together, and oh my gosh, he's being sworn in. I mean, we used to have the same algorithm.
This is the difference. I'm sorry, Mark.
They're good.
Donald Trump had a claim on the heart of the Republicans, white Christian evangelicals. Bernie does not yet at all have the heart of the Democratic Party, which is African Americans, especially African American women. He may earn that in South Carolina. I think South Carolina is up for grabs. But that is a crucial difference, is that until I know where African Americans are going, I don't know who my nominee is going to be, and Bernie does not yet have the pole position
Trump
with those voters.
Did not start with the credibility with the evangelical community, and he ended up earning it, and he got the nomination with 44.9% of the popular Republican vote.
I mean, I think the consolidation is not nigh.
Right.
You know, a W is a W. There are some issues with, I think, the types of voters that are coming out. They're getting fewer young voters and not a surge of first-time voters, which I think is bad news for Bernie moving forward.
Although the turnout in New Hampshire did beat 2008.
Yeah, I just mean like the subsets of voters that he needs to move forward. I'm enjoying the Klobuchar no to socialism surge. I think I'm enjoying that sensibility out there, and I think she's slow and steady and has proved herself in some interesting ways and is getting ready to swerve into that lane.
All right, we're going to keep talking about this because Joe Biden is betting on support from black voters, but he could be losing some of that backing to another candidate. We're going to talk about that next. Stay with us.
I'm Mariceli, and I am a real Premier Protein fan. I started my health journey at 41. I didn't realize 40 was so life-changing. For me, it was like a new beginning. The taste of Premier Protein helps me not feel deprived from sweets. I drink it every day. I cook with it. Premier Protein is my thing. I love it.
With 30 grams of protein, 160 calories, and just 1 gram of sugar. Premier Protein. Too good to be good.
I got a good feeling. Feel it in my bones, gotta shake it out. I'm going harder than before, let me shout. Oh, no. I'm the talk of the town. I know you're feeling it now.
Transitions, light under control.
You know, only about the legs, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Gorilla Glue. Of course. Gorilla Glue is incredibly strong and versatile, even outdoors, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
1 in 5 Americans have left a job due to toxic work culture. SHRM research shows almost half of the workforce has been treated unfairly due to age. People with disabilities are twice as likely to be unemployed. Nearly 700,000 of the formerly incarcerated will remain unemployed for over a year. And more than 50% of veterans have trouble finding work. These individuals have been constrained for far too long. Tearing down biases at work is good for people and business. Together, let's create better workplaces and a better world.
Wireless for $15 a month. That's not right.
It's right, all right. Carpet showers? That's not right.
That's not right.
Neither is the way you get wireless. Mint Mobile took what's wrong with wireless and made it right. We're easy, online, and just $15 a month. Get your plan today at mintmobile.com.
Grubhub, America's leader in food delivery, just got better.
I do my hair count, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Introducing Perks, millions of dollars in deals and free food nationwide. Download the Grubhub app today and get free delivery on your first order.
Hi again. That belongs to me.
How you feeling?
So, you want to be the leader of the free world? Just how far will you go to get what you want?
Will you turn friends into enemies? Will you break your own rules? Maybe you can change politics, or maybe politics will change you. The race for the White House is on. Sunday at 9 on CNN. Here in the Bahamas, we do things differently. Our calm after the storm means shaking it off, rebuilding, and never missing a beat. Our spirit keeps us moving, our heritage keeps us dancing, and our shores keep us chilling. And our visitors, from first-timers to longtime friends, keep us smiling. This is the Bahamas, and we're still rocking.
Have you downloaded the MyHEB app? Because you could use it to win a lifetime of groceries. Yeah, a lifetime. It makes life as simple as, well, meal simple.
Oh, yeah.
Like easier delivery and curbside pickups when you're too busy to shop for this or that. Now that you have the app, open it, tap on the sweepstakes button, and select 10 of the HEB items you've seen here at the party, and you'll be entered to win a lifetime of groceries from HEB.
Download and enter by February 16th.
I'm David Culver in Beijing, China, and this is CNN.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
Mesothelioma. It's all we do. With 9 offices across the country, let us come meet with you. Call us at 1-800-213-8000.
In our 2020 lead, it is the conundrum of the Democratic presidential race. Fact. No one has ever come in 4th in Iowa and 5th in New Hampshire and gone on to become the Democratic presidential nominee. And yet, also, Kate Bedingfield with the Biden campaign reminds us of this other fact.
No one has gone on to be the nominee who does not have the support of African American voters. Joe Biden has those long relationships in the African American community. Black voters know him. They know his heart. They know his record.
All right, so let's talk about this. According to polling from Quinnipiac University, Biden is the national frontrunner among African American voters with 27% of support. But we should note, and there's Mike Bloomberg in second place with 22%, Sanders 19. We should note that 27% support with Biden is a steep decline from 3 weeks ago when he had 49% support. Now, part of that is Bloomberg gaining 15 points.
Right.
What's going on?
So 2 things. One, that I love that we're having this conversation because having tried to break the stranglehold of Iowa and New Hampshire, it is finally done, and we recognize that the strategy to win means you have to win African American and Latino voters.
Well, Iowa helped you with that by screwing up the caucus.
We've been fighting about this since 2005.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So, but I think part of what's happening, African American voters are very pragmatic. One of the things that we're seeing in some of the polling work that I'm doing, though, is a lot of black voters are trying to figure out who will white people vote for, right? So a lot of them love Joe Biden. They feel comfortable with Joe Biden. They feel like they know who he is, but they may also be looking at what's happening in the field and trying to decide, okay, just because I would vote for this person, will those folks vote for this person? And I think that part of the challenge that Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar have is they have not yet really had to face the black community with some of these tough issues. Senator Klobuchar was on The View just yesterday.
Yeah, Sunny Hostin had some tough questions.
It was very tough, and she was not prepared to defend her record as a prosecutor. That is something she's going to have to contend with. It's great that she's having a great few days, but she better be ready for Nevada and South Carolina.
President Trump is eager to exploit any issues that African American voters might have with the Democratic candidate.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the Trump campaign thinks, especially among African American men, they're going to do better than previous Republican nominees have done. But what you just said about the other 2 people in Biden's zone is why I think Joe Biden should drop out of this race right now. Because let's be honest, this is like the scene in the Titanic where the boat is listing and the lights are still on and then they sort of blink and they go off. This is the phase we're in. Eventually it's going to crack and sink. He's not going to win South Carolina, I don't think. However, he does have popularity and credibility with key voting blocks that he could potentially help Buttigieg or Klobuchar with. And so, to me, there's a clear path forward for him to be vital in this primary, but I don't think it's going to be as the nominee.
What do you think?
I think he's going to play out the string into South Carolina. He's got relationships there. He's got support there. I got to say, though, if South Carolina is your firewall, you got to show some fire in the belly. He's got to bring more energy to it. And it's not just a matter of age. Bernie Sanders is even older and hugely energetic, really energetic on the stump. Joe's got to get down there. I mean, he's got to say, look, There's no quit in you and there's no quit in me. They wrote you off just like they're trying to write me off. If you lift me up, I will never let you down. Go and ask for their votes, but with some passion. And I'm not seeing that from him. And I don't have a candidate in the race, but that's free advice for the vice president. Go in there with some passion, sir.
And Mary Catherine, there's this audio that resurfaced of Mayor Bloomberg talking about stop and frisk, saying, quote, we put all the cops in minority neighborhoods. Right. That's true because that's where all the crime is, and on and on. Very offensive comments. And yet you see Bloomberg rising in the polls among African-American voters.
I think people are looking for an alternative to Biden. They're exploring. He's another person who, despite being the mayor of a very diverse city, will have to contend with this issue on justice issues as well. Look, I don't think you have to win in Iowa and New Hampshire to be the nominee, but I think you've got to show people. And I think that, black voters in South Carolina, to your point, pragmatic, but when does a practical vote become impractical? When does his plausibility seem sort of implausible? And we're getting to that point. And so I think there's real danger for him.
I just think we don't know yet. I really do. I just think the days of figuring this out early are gone. And I just think we can't count anybody out just yet.
Nevada, the Nevada caucus is a week from Saturday. And it isn't until 1 week after that that the South Carolina voters get to weigh in. So Biden might have to go through another rough night before getting to South Carolina. Everyone stick around. Attorney General Barr now set to appear before the House Judiciary Committee after accusations that he intervened in the Roger Stone sentencing. We'll talk to a member of the House Judiciary Committee next. Stay with us.
It's important to have a reliable network. You all use it in different ways.
Everyone in your family is different.
Someone's streaming sports, someone's video chatting her friends.
That's why Verizon has plans to mix and match starting at just $35. And one of our best phones when you buy one. The network more people rely on gives you more.
At VisionWorks, we guarantee you'll see great and look great.
Guarantee. We say that too.
You gotta use these because we don't mean it.
Buy any pair at regular price, get one free. Really, VisionWorks. See the difference.
Whatever happens out there today, remember, you have the Hilton app.
Can the Hilton app help us win?
Hey, we're all winners with the Hilton Price Match Guarantee, all right? Man, you guys are adorable. All right, let's go find your coach. Come on. Book with the Hilton app. Expect better. Expect Hilton.
I don't know if you're aware, but the world's gone to hell since you left. I need you for an important mission.
I'm a Russian agent, apparently.
I'll take my chances.
Don't let her out of your sight. Back off! Put the weapon down!
Whatever she's in is because of me. I am not turning my back on her.
No more about my loyalty. I did what had to be done.
Sail beyond with Celebrity Cruises. Beyond expected. Beyond luxury. For a limited time, enjoy savings of up to $800 and free drinks during Celebrity Cruises Sail Beyond event.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now there's Skyrizi.
Things are getting clearer. Yeah, I feel free. Spare my skin. Yeah, that's all me. Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin. That's my new plan. Nothing is everything.
Keep your skin clearer with Skyrizi. 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. Of those, nearly 9 out of 10 sustained it through 1 year. And Skyrizi is 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
I see nothing in a different way. And it's my moment, so I just gotta say.
Skyrizi may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or coughs, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine. Ask your dermatologist about Skyrizi.
Take me back to the start.
The Windsors, Inside the Royal Dynasty, premieres Sunday at 10 on CNN.
Golden Nugget Lake Charles presents Chris Tucker.
You get out of this car and you walk to church. You hear me? You get out and you walk to church.
Live Friday, February 28th at 8:30 p.m. Chris Tucker, only at the Golden Nugget Lake Charles, a 2-hour drive from Houston.
I have traveled the world, but in Texas, only one beer will do. And that beer
is not here.
Cut! Why is there no beer? You guys had one job. What?
It's supposed to be about beer. There's no beer.
Favor for Cam?
Yo!
Thanks. All right.
Okay, let's do this.
Sorry for crying.
Get beer and wine from H-E-B delivered free in under an hour, only with Favor.
Golden Nugget Lake Charles presents Chris Tucker.
You get out of this car and you walk to church. You hear me? You get out and you walk to church.
Live Friday, February 28th at 8:30 p.m. Chris Tucker, only at the Golden Nugget Lake Charles, a 2-hour drive from Houston.
The Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer, up next on CNN.
Moments ago, President Trump said he learned lessons from impeachment. The lesson he learned, the Democrats are crooked, vicious, and they should not have pursued his impeachment. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California. He serves on both the Intelligence and Judiciary Committees. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. Tell me what your take is on what President Trump said he learned in terms of the lessons learned.
He is learning the wrong lessons. He's acting to now corrupt the Department of Justice, and we're going to act immediately. We had a meeting today on the Judiciary Committee, an emergency meeting, to decide what's next, and so we're going to bring the Attorney General in. We're also going to conduct oversight of what's going on with the Stone sentencing. But Jake, I'll just say this. He could just pardon Roger Stone. It would be wrong to do that, but to infect, his corruption into the DOJ, I think that's what's so concerning to so many people who want independence among our prosecutions.
So Barr has announced that he will come before your committee, the House Judiciary Committee, in March.
That's right.
You're on the committee. What do you want to ask him?
Well, we want to know who's making these decisions. Are prosecutors, still independent? What is going on with other investigations into Trump officials? Because now we know in the 2020 election, Barr has the ability to sign off on any investigation. He has to sign off on any investigation into a campaign. And so the erosion of independence among prosecutors is our chief concern.
The sentencing of Roger Stone will ultimately be left up to Judge Amy Berman Jackson. Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa said, quote, "I think the judge is going to take care of all that and nobody's going to question the judge's decision." What do you think?
I agree. She's an independent judge. I should not be recommending a sentence. The President of the United States should not be recommending a sentence. She should be given the ability to make that decision herself based on the facts of the case and where Roger Stone, should go based on the sentencing guidelines.
Even some Trump critics said that the 7 to 9 year recommendation was harsh and excessive. Do you question that? Do you disagree?
Well, it fits within the sentencing guidelines. He should not be treated any differently than anyone else who committed so many crimes and also went to trial. Jake, remember, in our criminal justice system, you are rewarded for taking responsibility early in the proceedings. If you go to trial and you put up, a bogus defense or you try and mislead the court, you can be punished for that in your sentence, and that is what is going to happen here, I think.
The Justice Department and the White House and President Trump all deny that President Trump directly told Attorney General Barr what to do or directly coordinated with him. As always, the president did send out a tweet. Is that enough to object to?
Yes, and as Michael Cohen told our committee, President Trump knows in many of the mob-like ways that he operates that he doesn't have to say something directly, that indirectly he can signal what he wants someone to do. That was how Cohen said he would communicate with the president. And I think by tweeting out that, Attorney General Barr got the message.
Take a listen to Republican Senator John Cornyn of Texas.
Are you concerned that 4 prosecutors felt so strongly about it that they resigned?
No.
They got off the case?
No. Cornyn not concerned. What do you think? Are you concerned?
Yes, I'm very concerned that the independence of prosecutors, the ability of judges to just weigh the facts and the evidence is eroding, that the president's taken a wrecking ball to that. And he was just impeached for that. We're not going to stop holding him accountable. We've learned when you hold him accountable, you can actually stop the corruption, whether he's removed or not. And ultimately, it's going to be for the voters to judge in November.
Might you impeach him over this, over Roger Stone and the sentencing?
You know, we're not going to take our options off the table. We don't wake up in the morning wanting to impeach him. You know, we want to work with him on prescription drugs, background checks, and infrastructure. But we're not going to let him just, you know, torch this democracy because he thinks that he's been let off once and we're not going to do something about it.
Congressman Eric Swalwell, Democrat of California, thanks so much. Coming
Thanks,
up,
Dick, my
a
pleasure.
new warning from the Centers for Disease Control about the coronavirus. Stay with us.
No matter what business you're in, digital transformation never stops.
Verizon keeps business ready for what's next.
We weave security into their business,
virtualize their operations,
and can even build AI into their customer experiences.
We also keep them ready for the next big opportunity,
like 5G,
where machines could talk to each other and expertise could go anywhere.
When it comes to digital transformation,
Verizon keeps business ready.
You're nervous. I get it. The truth is, they're more talented than you. Probably got a better coach. But I promise you, they are not a better team. Because they haven't been through what we've been through. They don't know adversity. They don't know what it's like to get knocked down and have to get back up again. They don't know what it is to fight.
The way back. Here we are, March 6th.
He's been a leader throughout the country for the past 12 years. Mr. Michael Bloomberg is here.
Leadership in action. Mayor Bloomberg and President Obama worked together in the fight for gun safety laws, to improve education, and to develop innovative ways to help teens gain the skills needed to find good jobs.
At a time when Washington is divided in old ideological battles, he shows us what can be achieved when we bring people together to seek pragmatic solutions.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
When you need the fuel to be your nephew's #1 fan, Holiday Inn Express, we're there so you can be too.
At Fidelity, we'll help you build a clear plan for retirement. One that covers healthcare costs, taxes, and any other uncertainties. Because when you're with Fidelity, a partner who makes sure every step is clear, there's nothing to stop you from moving forward.
Hey. You fell asleep with your sign again.
Fell asleep with your sign again. No, I didn't.
Okay.
Switch to Progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
Looks like clear skies for the weekend. All you road trippers out there, looks like traffic's going to be smooth sailing.
Stay in your lane with Cup Phone. The WeatherTech Cup Phone keeps your phone secure, fits virtually any size cup holder, and allows easy access even while charging. See everything else Cup Phone can do at WeatherTech.com.
Do you ever feel as if everything is pointing you towards something? You can feel it or you can sense it, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is.
Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll never leave you again. I swear it.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, little things can become your big moment. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clearer skin is achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
This is the Frells family's land. They grew their first tomatoes right here. And when it snows, the kids go sledding right there. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor because this is more than just land. It's home. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Thanks for watching. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jake Tapper. Tweet the show at The Lead CNN. Our coverage on CNN continues right now. See you tomorrow.
I'm Wolf Blitzer in the Situation Room. We're tracking major new developments in President Trump's unprecedented campaign to interfere with federal criminal investigations. Just a short while ago, the president thanked his Attorney General William Barr after the Justice Department overruled federal prosecutors recommending a hefty prison sentence for longtime Trump confidant Roger Stone. Meanwhile, House Democrats just announced a hearing with the Attorney General, giving lawmakers a chance to press him on his involvement in the Stone case, as well as the Justice Department's decision to review information from Rudy Giuliani's dirt-digging operation in Ukraine. I'll speak with Congresswoman Kathleen Rice of the Homeland Security Committee. And a prominent target of the president's anger, the former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe. And our correspondents and analysts will have full coverage of the day's top stories. First, let's go to our chief White House correspondent, Jim Acosta. Jim, the president once again bitterly lashing out at federal prosecutors while praising the Attorney General for, quote, taking charge.
That's right. Well, President Trump is insisting he's done nothing wrong, even as he's thanking the Justice Department for bending to his wishes in the trial of Roger Stone and retaliating against administration officials who have crossed him. Mr. Trump's fellow Republicans aren't showing any signs that they intend to do anything about it. The president is all but blowing a kiss to the Justice Department for intervening in the case of his former campaign advisor, Roger Stone, who is facing a longer prison sentence for his role in the Russia investigation until Mr. Trump started complaining. The president claims he didn't meddle in the case.
I want to thank the Justice Department for seeing this horrible thing, and I didn't speak to him, by the way.
Justice Department's decision to seek a lighter sentence for Stone prompted 4 federal prosecutors to quit the case, but Mr. Trump didn't seem to mind.
He was treated very badly. I don't know what happened. They all hit the road pretty quickly. I'm not concerned about anything. They ought to go back to school. 9 years in jail, it's a disgrace. In the meantime, Comey walks around making book deals.
Earlier in the day, the president tweeted, "Congratulations to Attorney General Bill Barr for taking charge of a case that was totally out of control and perhaps should not have ever been brought." The president is not ruling out a pardon for Stone.
I don't want to say that yet.
Critics say the Stone case is just the latest example of Mr. Trump's apparent campaign of retribution after his impeachment trial. Not so, say administration officials who claim there was no revenge sought against Alexander Vindman and his brother after they were pushed out of the White House. Payback, critics say, for the lieutenant colonel's testimony.
And it was just time for them to go back, and their services were no longer needed, and so they've gone back to the Department of the Army, and so that's where they'll continue their career. I can absolutely tell you they were not retaliated against.
That doesn't quite line up with the president, who said he was unhappy with Vindman.
No, well, I obviously wasn't happy with the job he did, and the military can handle him any way they want.
But there are signs the president's latest fixation is on the Stone case. The White House suddenly withdrew the nomination of Jessie Liu, a federal prosecutor tapped for a top job at the Treasury Department. She oversaw the office handling the Stone case. The president is also targeting the judge presiding over the Stone trial, Amy Berman Jackson, tweeting, "Is this the judge that put Paul Manafort in solitary confinement, something that not even mobster Al Capone had to endure?" Democrats say the president is out of control.
Left to his own devices, President Trump would turn America into a banana republic where the dictator can do whatever he wants. And the Justice Department is the president's personal law firm.
The president's top defenders are pushing back on that.
Absolutely should not be commenting on cases in the system. I've said that a bunch. And if I thought he'd done something that had changed the outcome inappropriately, I'd be the first to say.
Still, some Republicans are unsettled by the president's moves. After Maine Senator Susan Collins said she thought the president had learned a lesson after impeachment.
He was impeached, and there has been criticism by both Republican and Democratic senators of his call. I believe that he will be much more cautious in the future.
Alaska GOP Senator Lisa Murkowski conceded there haven't been any strong indicators this week that he has. And the president is also making it clear he doesn't plan on modifying his behavior after his impeachment trial. Asked by reporters earlier today what he has learned, he responded that it's the Democrats, he says, who are crooked and that he should have never been impeached. Wolf, for the president tonight, it is no regrets and no mercy. Wolf.
Jim Acosta at the White House, thank you. Let's get some more from our senior congressional correspondent, Manu Raju. He's up on Capitol Hill. Manu, Democrats, they are clearly eager to get some answers directly from the Attorney General.
Yeah, and now they have an agreement for the Attorney General to come testify before the House Judiciary Committee on March 31st. Now, this comes after about a year of a standoff between Democrats on that committee and the Attorney General, who actually defied a request to come and testify last year over concerns of the format of that hearing, in which staff attorneys were planning on questioning the Attorney General, who pushed back on that. He did not appear, but he does appear. According to the Democrats, he's agreed to come. And Democratic Chairman Jerry Nadler sent a letter out along with his fellow committee Democrats, and they told the Attorney General that he will be questioned about the Stone case and also the effort by Rudy Giuliani to provide the Justice Department with information related to Ukraine. That question about that process has been a key question that the Democrats have had, and expect Bill Barr to be faced with a number of questions about that and other matters, as well as his involvement about the Ukraine episode altogether. So this will be a significant event, but it's going to be weeks away, and we'll see if anything comes up that would prevent the Attorney General from ultimately appearing.
Manu, how are Republicans up on the Hill reacting to the president's actions following his acquittal?
Well, a number of them are defending the president. They say there's nothing wrong with the steps that he's taking. That's how the most of the Senate Republicans are saying. Some are taken aback, including Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, who told me earlier today that there's no indication from this week that the president has learned any lessons. But after Susan Collins of Maine, who voted to acquit the president, said that last week that perhaps the president might have learned lessons because he may act more cautiously in the aftermath of criticism that he had received over his conduct related to Ukraine by both parties. Today I asked her whether or not she still believes the president learned any lessons in the aftermath of these recent actions.
In light of the president's actions, do you think there's any lessons that can learn from being impeached?
I don't know which actions you're referring to. I've made very clear that I don't think anyone should be retaliated against. That has nothing to do with the basis by which I voted to acquit the president. The conduct alleged should be so dangerous to our country and so egregious and proven by the House managers that the person should not remain in office one moment more. That's the standard established by the House managers. It was the standard that I used in acquitting President Clinton, and that's the reason for my vote. And I don't know why you're equating the two.
Well, you said that the president learned his lessons. Do you think he learned any lessons?
So she wouldn't say whether or not the president learned any lessons at this point. And later, Wolf, when she was talking to reporters, she said, my vote to acquit the president was not based on predicting his future behavior. Wolf.
All right, Manu, thank you. Manu Raju reporting. Let's get some more with Democratic Congresswoman Kathleen Rice, a member of the House Homeland Security Committee. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. And you just heard President Trump, he praised on the Justice Department for intervening to help his longtime friend and political advisor, Roger Stone. What are the implications if the president could tip the scales at the Justice Department on a high-profile case like this?
The implications, Wolf, are enormous. If the president can send a tweet out and change the behavior of the Attorney General, then what that means is the Attorney General works for the president. He doesn't work for the American people. He is not about the rule of law, upholding the rule of law. He's not about keeping politics at bay when it comes to things like this. I mean, think about the message, Wolf, this is sending to the general public. If you're Joe Blow, regular citizen, you're going to prison. If you're a friend of Donald Trump's, you're not. And it is that stark. But I don't know why anyone should be shocked. If we should be shocked about anything, it's about how quickly, since his acquittal, which was a ridiculous exercise by the Senate, led by Mitch McConnell, why we should be surprised. The thing that should surprise us is why it was so quick. I mean, maybe you'd think the president would have given a week or two before he, hatcheted up all the people that were testifying pursuant to subpoenas, obeying the law. I mean, this is just outrageous behavior, and I hope that every single one of us, as Americans, not Republicans or Democrats or independents, but as Americans, ask yourself the question, what kind of country do you want to live in? Do you want a country where the president has guardrails and respects the separation of powers? Or do you want a president who's going to act like a dictator? Right now, that's what we have.
And you went one step further in a tweet, and let me put it up on the screen and read it, Congresswoman. As a former prosecutor of 20-plus years, I continue to be appalled at the conduct of Attorney General Barr. As I said months ago, he is unfit for his job. This is why I joined Representative Ted Lieu in asking him to be investigated for possible disbarment. What questions does the Attorney General need to answer when he comes before your colleagues on the House Judiciary Committee?
Well, what conversations he's had with the president directly, what facts and evidence he's based his decisions on, in not just the Roger Stone case, but in others. I mean, look, I'll come out and say it. I think Bill Barr is probably the most unfit Attorney General we have ever had in this country. And I hope people are paying attention to what he's doing and what he's saying. But at the very least, he's going to be put in the hot seat. He's going to have to take an oath. Not that I think it matters to him. But he's going to have to answer questions about the conversations he's had with the president and others in the administration. And why would there was this sudden turnaround about Roger Stone when you're asking for him to go to prison for lying to Congress. He wasn't jaywalking. He was lying to Congress and obstructing justice, trying to witness tamper. I mean, this is what an independent jury, found him guilty of. He deserves to go to prison. Now, as a former federal prosecutor, Wolf, as you know, I have been involved in cases involving prosecutions of political people, and you have to get approval at the highest levels of the Department of Justice. And the reason for that is to ensure that you are not taking steps that can be influenced by any political considerations. But what we're seeing here in terms of a presidential tweet is that's exactly what happened, and Bill Barr is going to have to answer to that.
In the revised version, after these 4 federal prosecutors stepped away from the case in protest, the Justice Department still said that Roger Stone deserves prison time, but not the 7 to 9 years that originally had been recommended. Is that okay with you?
Well, look, I mean, anyone can quibble about, do you think 7 to 9 years is fair? I mean, that is a very stiff sentence. But ultimately, it is the responsibility of DOJ, who prosecuted this case, to make a recommendation that is consistent with the evidence against this individual, his past behavior, and what the likelihood is of him going to, be a recidivist in the future. I mean, there are all of these standards that you have to take into consideration when you make a recommendation. But that you don't just prosecute the case and then say, hey, judge, give this person whatever you want. You have to take a position about what you think an appropriate punishment is. You can't just say, judge, go ahead and do it, because at this point now what we have is a president now tweeting against the judge, saying how unfair the judge is. I mean, this is just outrageous behavior on the part of Bill Barr and, of course, by our president. But again, why we should be shocked when it's just day after day. And my fear, Wolf, is that Donald Trump is going to succeed at numbing the American public to his transgressions. We cannot let that happen. He has to be held accountable, and that's why I am going to be as vocal as I can when these outrageous abuses of power are perpetrated against the American people.
It'll now be up to the federal judge, Amy Berman Jackson, to decide how much prison sentence Roger Stone should get. He was convicted by a jury on these 7 felonies, 7 counts. Thanks so much for joining us, Congresswoman Kathleen Rice.
Thank you, Wolf.
All right, still ahead, Senator Bernie Sanders leads the Democratic PAC into the upcoming primary and caucus states where the voters will be much more diverse. And waiting in the wings, former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. What impact will he have?
Dana-Farber Cancer Institute
discovered the PD-L1 pathway.
PD-L1.
They change how the war fights cancer.
Taking care of Dad.
Why Ameriprise Financial?
My advisor cares about my personal goals.
He gives us comprehensive advice.
I feel prepared for what's expected in life and even what's not.
She helps us feel confident.
We know our financial future is secure.
With the right financial advice, life can be brilliant. Ameriprise Financial.
Brandman writes, if you like boneless wings, you dirty. Not anymore. B-Dubs completely reinvented their boneless wings. Now they're marinated and packed with so much meat, it doesn't make sense. Get here for the new boneless wings. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
In fast food, there's value. Then there's fresh value from Subway. Like the 6-inch oven-roasted chicken for just $2.99. It's seasoned all-white meat chicken raised without antibiotics. Start the year off fresh. Fresh value only from Subway.
This is our stage. The UFC on ESPN+.
Welcome back to Around the Horn, brought to you by Chase. Coming to you from the Seaport District at Pier 17.
I think it's working. That's the email from Astros Director of Advanced Information Tom Koch-Weiser, as obtained by the Wall Street Journal in the latest of the latest details through Operation Codebreaker. By the way, the email started with, I don't want to correspond too much about the system electronically. Washington Post reporting open secret from players that everyone, clubhouse staff members, scouts around the league knew it. And then also The Athletic, the firm of Rosenthal and Drellich, reporting El Jefe, the Godfather, the alpha male, Carlos Beltran, was behind it all. One member of the 2017 World Series winning team told The Athletic, you're an accessory to a robbery, and now you're in the backseat of the getaway car. You never intended to be part of a criminal act, but the doors are locked, the driver's speeding away, and you're unable to escape. So hearing all that, and then seeing today the Astros denied media access to pitchers and catchers, the arrival, what are you doing with this information, Clinton Yates?
I'm selling all of it. For me, there was a simple way to prove some level of credibility if you're the Astros. You told everybody you were going to sit down and talk in front of all the players. Why don't you just stream that live in real time the same way that you were stealing signs live in real time? And I don't say that flippantly. There would have been something to be open about this that would have proven to people that you were willing to let them know how you were planning to attack this. Right now, not making them available just shows that you really don't know what you did wrong and why you should be,
Sarah Spain.
Yeah, I'm selling a lot of things. There was a lot we expected, including some players, young players, saying they didn't feel like even if they stood up to it, anything could be done or changed. But also, if I'm a player or a manager or a staff member at some other team, are you really satisfied with who they got rid of at the Astros when you learn that the intern that created this has been elevated to a major position, that all those people that were involved are still there? How have we fixed anything by simply suspending/firing two of the guys there? Nothing has been fixed, so that would bother me. And I agree with Clinton. The only way to get out ahead of this, which is still going to be way behind, is to be completely transparent and forthright about what you did and not try to make it sound like everybody else was doing the same.
Brian Gasola?
It's still incredible that no players are being punished and everyone else is losing their job left and right. This story's not going away. The first time somebody gets a ball thrown at them, the first time they play the Yankees, the only way that they can really distance themselves, they need to start winning some games and maybe get back to the playoffs, because until then, everyone is going to be thinking about this scandal and attaching it to the Astros.
Bob Ryan.
This is potentially the worst thing to happen to baseball since the Black Sox scandal in terms of public credibility, and I see no way they can crawl out from under this at all, unless they're going to be honest. And the only utopian way, which I know is never going to happen, is for them to say today, Jim Crane to say, okay, here's the trophy, Commissioner. We give it back. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Not happening.
And that's it. But they're not going to do that. And there's no way that anything they say, people will buy or believe. This is catastrophic.
So the strategy today, Bob, if you could sum it up in a few words, to close off the media and have pitchers and catchers report, no video, no microphone, and no word yet. The strategy that the Astros are employing is what?
I don't know. Clinton's 100% right. It's the only way they could remotely sell anything to us. I'm not going to believe anything they say that doesn't admit full culpability.
That is a great idea, Clinton, that you want full transparency, televise the meeting.
They're not going to do it.
Okay.
Because they don't have
the only players we've heard from, by the way, are players who are no longer on the team. The players who have moved on to different teams.
Well,
I think that might be something the team is making them do.
It's possible. I guess we should say we did hear from Bregman and Altuve at the fan festival that first day, and then everything was shut down afterwards because of the way those guys addressed it at that time. We'll move on to another story that might get you a little worked up. Fire Cell 2, Mel Tucker to Michigan State. He leaves Colorado after 1 year, leaves them a few days after saying he wasn't going to leave them, so there's that. And also, what opens up at Colorado, and the very big dot people are connecting, Colorado, a way late job opening. Maybe they can convince a former star and current star to come home. Eric Bieniemy people are wondering whether he can go back to his alma mater. So Sarah Spain, you can buy or sell Tucker leaving first, and then we'll address Bieniemy after that. Buy or sell Tucker leaving like he did.
I'm selling it. In October, he said, as he ripped the transfer portal, there's no such thing as a transfer portal in the real world. Meanwhile, since 2015, he's had 4 different jobs. He's not alone in this. He got offered a ton of money, but the more we see coaches do this and players have no payment and no movement, the more this system is revealed to be a complete sham. Bieniemy shouldn't take the job. He's on the verge of an NFL gig. This would be a step down.
Frank Isola?
Yeah, if Bieniemy wants to coach in college, then by all means take the job. But if your dream is to coach in the NFL, and I gotta think he's going to get a chance at some point after probably next season, stay in the NFL. If that's where you want to be, hold out for 1 more year. See if you can.
Bob Ryan?
I, for one, have never heard one word out of Eric Bieniemy about what he thinks about anything, let alone whether he thinks college is a good way to coach or as opposed to the pros. It's totally different things. We have no idea what would appeal to him. My guess is that he should stay where it looks like he's a pro. As far as the other guy's concerned, and not the first guy who went into with a date and then saw a prettier girl in the room. This is standard football, basketball procedure for Coach Yates. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't have to go back months. We can go back to last night when the CU Buffs Club was posting pictures of him selling himself to, alums who are now, which is now deleted. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing. As for Bieniemy, I don't think you go back to that. He was a coach there twice. Once as the running backs coach, once as the offensive coordinator. He was actually considered before they picked up Tucker. I think it'd be a move backwards at this point for him, considering where he is.
The video that's going around right now of Mel Tucker talking to Ashad Clayton, a 4-star recruit. This was posted by the Buffs account last week, 6 days ago. And they're on the phone. He's saying, I love you. He's saying, this is just the beginning. Whew, it's just so tough to watch. Sarah Spain, Bob Ryan. Might be tough for you guys to watch a showdown of Clinton Yates and Frank Isola, but here's where we are. Isola, Yates, showdown in 2 minutes.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah. That's the stuff. No, really. Those are the actual ingredients. Tostitos. Get to the good stuff.
Acura in 2 words.
That.
I'm on it. Me too. Beat that.
Well, that about sums it up.
This Valentine's Day.
When the avalanche was coming, what happened next?
Ditch the kids.
Dad ran away. Yep.
And spend time with someone you tolerate.
Let's have a great time! No!
Downhill, rated R.
When dehydration gets real.
Hey, that's mine.
How about your pony? Pedialyte's Advanced Rehydration isn't just for kids, but to feel better fast, find us in the baby aisle.
And all my people say,
oh yeah!
Win her heart with an extraordinary Valentine. Now save 20 to 50% on all fashion jewelry. Every kiss begins with K.
Riddle me this. With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new Papadia? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new Papadia, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
This BLT is delicious. Made it myself.
I love this place.
Made that myself too. Order up. Right where I like it.
Don't forget the grease fire.
Burn, baby. Wait, what? I said grease fire. What are you doing on the counter?
But only the small business gets real.
Sorry, can I get a to-go box?
Progressive helps protect what you built with customizable coverage.
Brandman writes, if you like boneless wings, you dirty. Not anymore. B-Dubs completely reinvented their boneless wings. Now they're marinated and packed with so much meat, it doesn't make sense. Get here for the new boneless wings. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
We're destined for greatness. This conference is going to be absolutely insane.
A Sonic Blockbuster season continues Saturday at 6 on ESPN.
One donation saves 3 lives. To the Hero Bus. You saving lives. Everyone, follow me. Just one more stop, okay? Hold on.
I worked hard for you today.
Who is that?
That's my hero.
You got this. Be a hero. Donate blood.
MJ Hagar's taken on the toughest fights. In Afghanistan, wounded while her helicopter came under fire, Hagar saved the lives of her crew and soldiers. But the fight of Hagar's life came in the delivery room, as a difficult birth required 2 blood transfusions. It's why Hagar will fight for quality, affordable health care and protect coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. MJ Hagar, Texas Tough. Broadcast is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Clinton Yates, Frank Isola, good luck to you both in Showdown. Showdown 1, quote, as positive as possible, end quote, to his 3-month checkup, according to Ian Rappaport. Clinton, what do you think it means for Tua, and what team should be most excited about that?
I think it means good things for Tua overall. He's not the guy that I would take top 5 if I had to actually plug him in and play him immediately. But luckily, the Lions are right there at 3, and they've got a good little shot to get him and move forward.
Oh, I think it's all about the Miami Dolphins. But if I'm the Colts at number 13, and you hate to do this, but you kind of want to put it out there that I'm not so sure about him. Can he stay healthy? You want him to drop to 13, and then you take him. That's how you play the game in the NFL draft.
Ooh, that's some skullduggery there from Frank Isola. I expect nothing less. Clinton, you would take Tua with Matthew Stafford still there after the type of season?
Yes, allow him to develop. We've seen Stafford over the past couple of seasons. There's nothing wrong with saying, here's a guy.
We'll move on. Showdown 2, how rebranding Tuesday went with the New York Knicks.
They got some young superstars. You see R.J. Barrett, Mitch Robinson. They got something to work with. And getting a coach in there, ultimately getting a coach and a coaching staff that's going to help develop the team. Toronto Raptors, they brought in Drake. Right? They brought in Drake to bring that thing. The New York Knicks brought in me.
Okay, so the Knicks had to release a statement afterwards, Romeoing Steve Stout after his first day on the job. Frank, how did rebranding go on Tuesday for the Knicks? Was it on brand or off brand?
Oh, that's totally on brand. I mean, Drake, like, who are you, Steve Stout? You know what? I give the Knicks credit, though, because they came out and reprimanded him publicly. Because if I'm Leon Rose, it looks like I'm going to be the president. You're making it known. Our president and our head coach speak on behalf of the team, not some marketing guy or marketing guru. Sorry.
You're giving the Knicks credit for that? Just another day in paradise? Look, I know who Steve Stout is because I grew up on the East Coast in the 80s and 90s listening to hip-hop. He's not doing anything other than bringing other dudes like him to the Knicks fan base, and that's what they've already got anyway. You need a different character to get different people, not the same old guys who you're already bringing in. That's the problem.
You agree? You'll split the point. Although I will say, I'll have it be known, if this was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and I had a phone a friend or had a lifeline, my life was dependent, I would call Frank Isola for that topic. We'll move on. Showdown 3. A Great Dane whose name was Dog. An Irish Water Spaniel named Simone, thrown out of the competition after an outburst at the judge. Crowd seemed to love Daniel, the Golden Retriever, but the win went to Seba, the Standard Poodle. Did Westminster get this right, Clinton Yates?
No, poodles are great, smart dogs, but what are we talking about here? They're trying to step into the modern world. They're on TikTok, for God's sakes, at Westminster Dog Show. Finally, give us what we want, and maybe this bad boy will move into the mainstream the way it should be, instead of some niche foo-foo event that they'd like to market.
The great Bob Ryan once said, you cannot give the award to the poodle, who's basically spending the whole day in a beauty salon. Everyone loves the Golden Retriever. It should be a popularity contest, for crying out loud. It's the Golden Retriever, not the
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Frank Isola, 30 seconds of FaceTime.
Whoa. Well, dog. The dog pound should be happy because Myles Garrett suspended 6 games for that crazy incident last year. He's been reinstated by the NFL. This is a terrific player who had a temporary moment of insanity. It's good to see him back. And maybe now the Cleveland Browns, who last year were the most overhyped, overproduced, were in too many commercials, maybe they'll be humbled a little bit. They'll go into next season and start focusing on playing some smart football, good football, and being a real team instead of the disaster they were last.
All right. How about that? Bob Ryan, your name was invoked, and now I'm looking at you. Is this on the Poodle? Go ahead. Bob, you got 15 seconds on the Poodle.
Those standard poodles aren't even poodles. They're freak shows. Real poodles are poodles. Stop me the next time you go to a park and see one of those stupid-looking poodles with their rear end shaved and their ankles shaved. Those aren't even...
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Hug Day, Tony. Do you like hugs?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. No, but I know you do. So if you see Wilbon on the street in Chicago, squeeze him. Get in there.
Yeah,
he absolutely loves it.
Come on. Warm me up. Warm me up. It's cold here. Hugs are good.
How cold is it?
It's warm right now. It's a nice spring day, 38, snow pouring out of the sky. That's nothing. The good stuff's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be real cold here on Friday night, but probably not as cold as it's going to be where you are. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, baseball changes it up. Michigan State has a new football coach, and we get a visit from Toronto Raptors coach Nick Nurse. But we begin today with Zion Williamson, who scored 31 points in 28 minutes last night as the Pelicans beat Portland for their 6th win in their last 8 games. And you can chalk most of them up to Zion, who is averaging 21 points a game in 27 minutes and shooting 58%. His teammate Drew Holiday says, quote, honestly, I don't see anyone who can guard him, unquote. New Orleans coach Alvin Gentry says, quote, I don't even think he scratched the surface, unquote. Wilbon, are you now as optimistic about Zion's NBA future as they are?
Close, Tony. I mean, look, I tune in to watch at least a little bit of him every chance I get, even if I don't see the whole game. And it's both, it's what he can do around the basket. So I don't want to hear people tell me that you have to have 3-pointers, okay? Because he's not shooting any after the first game, essentially. But the way Alvin Gentry is using him, I mean, he's letting him play around the basket. And this kid can create space even when there doesn't seem to be any. He's left-handed. We think even he can go to his right power moves. And it's like, wow. It really does remind me kind of early on of Charles Barkley, and it's another generation. And this kid is bigger and stronger than Charles.
Much bigger.
Saying something.
Yes, bigger and stronger.
Yes, Tony.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? It's like the next generation of that. I can't wait to talk to Charles about this later today and see if he agrees. But yes, how can you not be optimistic about the way he's playing so far?
I'll tell you how you cannot be optimistic in a second, because we have never seen somebody with a body like this before, with this kind of jumping ability and this kind of quickness. This is absolutely new in basketball. So you have to answer this question for me, which is, can his body hold up? Are we going to get to the point, and when are we going to get to the point where he can give 38 minutes, 4 games a week? Because that's how you become a great, great, great player. If you tell me that's going to happen, I will be as optimistic. But you know, I don't want to use the word skeptical as much as it is worried, because we've never seen somebody quite like him.
Tony, yes, and there are a bunch of players coming up now. The big men in their bodies weren't built, it seems, to be operating 22, 24, 26 feet from the basket and doing all the things they can do. And I share your concern. By the way, let's not forget about Shawn Kemp. When we talk about size and explosion in a way that previously before him we hadn't seen. But I'm mostly with you. But God, I mean, you got to be optimistic, Tone.
I am. I'm going to give you a stat. I'm not one of those people that cares if you got 31 points and 13 rebounds and 3 steals and you're 27 years. I don't care about that.
Right.
But this one I sort of care about. In the last 5 players to average 20-plus points and 50-plus shooting in their first 9 games, they went to the Hall of Fame. It's Grant Hill, it's Shaquille, it's David Robinson, Michael Jordan, it's Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson went for what he did in college, but that's pretty rare air if this kid can do this. It's rare air.
Question.
That's all, you know.
So we have actual breaking baseball news, and it forces the elimination of one of the fundamental tactics of baseball the last 30 to 40 years. MLB just announced that any pitcher inserted into the game will have to face 3 batters. 3. Or pitch to the end of an inning. team executives have been waiting on this announcement to figure out how to construct their rosters and to see how this is going to work in spring training. Rob Manfred said this is being done to introduce more action into the game. Tone, do you like this, or do you think it's just a restrictive gimmick?
Okay, I don't think it's a gimmick. I don't think it's a gimmick, and I don't want to sound like a guardian of the game. But I am wary of this. I think this takes a major strategic moment and the way you construct your roster out of baseball. If you have a lot of good relief pitchers and you use them from the 6th inning on, and you go lefty-righty or righty-lefty here and there, and you can't do this because a guy has to face at least 3 batters or get out of an inning, I think this hurts the smarter managers and brings the level of managing more closely together. And just as an example of this, I mean, what if baseball said, it's taking too much time to have pinch hitters. You can only have 1 in a game. Only 1 in a game. You go, well, what do you mean? So
we're looking at some slippery slope issues here, Tone. I agree with you on that. I don't like this for this reason. You think of some of the great, I'm thinking of the playoffs specifically here. You think of some of the great playoff situations and moments where you need a left-hand pitcher. If you are Tommy Lasorda, and I'm going to go old school here.
Right.
And you need to bring that guy in for one hitter. Reggie Jackson.
You go to the left-hander.
On deck. Yeah. We're going to the left-hander to pitch to Reggie. And then somebody else, a right-hander's got to come back in to pitch to Sal Bando. You now can't do that because you need more action. I mean, so who are we catering to? 12-year-olds who don't even necessarily watch baseball anyway? I'm skeptical.
Kansas City won a World Series by manipulating its bullpen the way nobody had ever seen.
6th inning on.
If you want to, I'm all for making the game faster. Maybe this makes the game faster, I'm not sure. But I just think strategically it handcuffs certain managers. And so I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm saying I'm wary of it. That's all.
I'm wary too.
Mel Tucker, who coached just 1 year at Colorado, has left, despite saying he would not leave, and taken the job at Michigan State. Michigan State reportedly doubled Tucker's salary at Colorado and similarly doubled the salaries of his staff. Wilbon, what do you make of Michigan State of the Big Ten being able to swoop in and punk Colorado in the Pac-12?
Well, Tony, I know what to make of it. I mean, I need to have some full disclosure. I mean, not only am I a Big Ten alum, I'm a trustee of a Big Ten school, Northwestern. We discuss all the time, Tony, and I'm sure all the other trustees at the other schools in the Big Ten, the 14 schools in the Big Ten, do as well. And there's the TV contract. The Big Ten network yields so much more money to our conference than other conference TV deals do to this point, to their conferences, that the Big Ten schools have this money. And they can go out and say, oh, yeah? And by the way, that includes more money than the SEC. All right? So they can go out and say, you think you're making a lot of money there? How about the pile here?
Right.
And it affords Big Ten institutions to do things that the other schools can't do yet. They've all got TV contracts now. They're all maybe chasing us. But right now, the Big Ten's out front, and Michigan State used its favorable position to lure Mel Tucker.
Yeah, a couple of things. At the moment, the Pac-12, which was so great and so dominating in basketball and football for so many years, is like leftover dinner meat. I mean, they are irrelevant at this point. Mel Tucker was a grad assistant for a couple of years at Michigan State.
For Nick Saban, right?
So there's a tie there. He coached 1 year. He'd been an assistant in a lot of places. Coached 1 year, he was 5-7. The guy before him in his last year was 5-7. So this guy, Mel Tucker, just fell up. A lot of people don't fall up. And he also said 4 days ago, he posted on social media, I'm not taking this job. I'm committed to Colorado.
Committed.
And he talked about the build. Well, he wasn't committed. Yeah, so I mean.
Wait a minute.
I don't begrudge it to him. It's a better situation.
No, it's not a better situation. Didn't I hear the phrase twice as much money?
Yeah, that's what you do. Better team, better everything. But still, if you recruited a kid, you got to call this kid and say, I'm going. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. So good luck.
That's right, Tony. Golf nerds like Tony and me have been hearing this chatter for a while about a new star-driven Premier Golf League. It would siphon off the world's most famous players. Think Tiger, Rory, Koepka, DJ, Spieth, and have them compete in the usual individual way and a trumped-up team format. When asked about this at Riviera yesterday, Tiger was non-committal and said he and his advisors are trying to figure it out just like everybody else. Tony, wouldn't this put, if adopted, a big fat dent in the PGA Tour?
It wouldn't put a dent. It would swamp the PGA Tour. If you're saying that these are 48-man tournaments, $10 million worth of prizes, 18 different weeks, the PGA Tour now has 9 such things with larger fields, so the chances of you getting more money is lessened. This would, I don't know what the PGA, look, I'm not sure this is going to happen. But
right.
You've got to have Tiger. If you don't have Tiger, it's not going to happen at all. But it would really lessen the PGA Tour, and that's going to be the consequence of this, especially if this new tour says, oh, don't worry, you can play in the Masters, play in the PGA, play in both Opens, and play in the Players. I mean, if you can do that, why wouldn't the best players go, Mike? Why?
Tony, yes. I mean, you think they probably would after they talk to their advisors. Talking about doubling Mel Tucker's salary. Look at how much more money, of course. But, Tony, let me just say this. If you are looking at doing this, Tiger's 4? I mean, look, Phil's gone. Phil's already turning 50. I know he may play a little while longer.
Okay.
But this should have been done 10 years ago. I worry that it's too late.
But you mentioned
those other guys.
You mentioned Rory
but Tony,
and Koepka.
Yeah, but they're not Tiger and Phil.
Right.
They're not. And they can't carry this. They can't be guaranteed to carry this the way Phil and Tiger would have carried it 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Okay. But if you say that Mel Tucker made the wise choice, taking double his salary, and you can put all these great players in a limited field, probably without cuts, and give them more money, they are.
Would you make more? If you're the guys who are putting on this new tour, can you make enough money to make it worthwhile?
Mike, I remember it's got to be 25 or 30 years ago. Greg Norman toyed with this idea and asked a bunch of pros about it, and it never happened. I'm not sure this will happen.
You're going to turn your back, Tony. You also got to turn your back on your peers.
That's exactly right, and on the people that have helped you come up and supported you and nurtured you. So I don't know that it's going to happen, but if it did, it would be bad for the PGA. Let's take a break, but coming up, the Raptors go for their 16th straight win tonight. How are they better without Kawhi Leonard? Well, we will ask Nick Nurse.
We'll also ask him what's behind the team's recent embrace of those beautiful 6-foot-long wool cashmere scarves.
What are those things?
Have you seen those, Tony?
Pardon the interruption is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
I'm Faith Steele. Ahead on SportsCenter at 6 Eastern, we take a deep dive into the NFL's decision to reinstate Myles Garrett today. Adam Schefter standing by for that. The Dodgers introduced Mookie Betts today. We'll hear from him in a new interview. And Stephen A. Smith's take on the significance of tonight's game for LeBron and the Lakers. SportsCenter with Kevin Nagandi right after PTI.
Domino's Tracker now has GPS, so you can follow your order. Or not.
Just take those old records off the shelf.
Use it to get a delivery alert, so we don't catch you before you're ready. Get any 2 or more medium 2-topping pizzas delivered for just $5.99 each.
He's a systems quarterback.
Where's the truck?
What? Parked it right there.
What did I tell you, boys? Tonight we eat like kings. You're a genius, Gordon. Brake? Hit the brake.
Which one's the brake?
Stop! What's happening? What? There's a half a cheesesteak back there.
With Geico, the savings keep on going, just like this sequel. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I got the cheesesteak!
Introducing Tostitos strips, their thickest chip yet. And creamy avocado salsa, made with real avocados. They're good apart, but better together. Hey, Martha, pass me some of that green stuff.
Join Planet Fitness now for only 25 cents down, $10 a month. Get tons of equipment and free fitness training, all for only 25 cents down, $10 a month. Join in club or at planetfitness.com. Hurry, deal ends Thursday, February 13th.
How do you learn how to play like that? How do you always find the best stuff to watch? How do they make shoes like that?
Happy 100 rides, step in Kansas City.
How do they know that? How do they know this stuff?
The Joseph
Joseph A. Bank President's Day sale. Up to 60% off everything. All suits on sale starting at $199. All dress shirts and sports shirts for $39. Plus, up to 80% off on all clearance. The President's Day sale. Only at Joseph A. Bank.
I'm a garbage man.
I grew up in the projects. I'm 10 months sober. That wasn't garbage. It was greatness.
We got you.
Thank you. This is when you have a second chance.
American Idol, this Sunday on ABC.
All people are tag people. You can file it, you can do it. You can file it, you can do it. We can help you get it through it, get it filed, nothing through it. All people are tag people. Intuit TurboTax.
This is a shout out to all those going the extra mile. Yes, you unsung designated driver. And you Saturday soccer dad. All you unpaid movers. And never miss a bedtime parents. We see how you go out of your way for others. And that inspires us to go the extra mile for you every single day. Hertz, proud to be ranked #1 in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power.
How about no?
No. No way.
Come on, no.
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 Only Discover has no annual fee on any card.
It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And the earth is flat.
Treat your cough seriously with Robitussin CF Max. Nothing lasts longer and treats more symptoms for your cough, cold, and flu. Robitussin, because it's never just a cough.
Domino's Tracker now has GPS, so you can follow your order. Or not.
Just take those old records off.
Use it to get a delivery alert, so we don't catch you before you're ready. Get any 2 or more medium 2-topping pizzas delivered for just $5.99 each.
Watching for the old school or the new school? Fired up for this revival or this resurgence? Bucks, Pacers, Lakers, Nuggets. Tonight on ESPN, Balls Are All.
The Toronto Raptors go for their 16th win in a row tonight in Brooklyn. We are pleased to welcome back to the show the coach of the defending NBA champs, Mr. Nick Nurse. And I'll start with this. I know what's written here, but I'm going off the script for a second because it says you lost one of the best players from last year. You lost the most impactful player in the entire league last year, the MVP of the finals, Kawhi Leonard. He's gone. And somehow you have a better record now than you did last year. I know we haven't gotten to the playoffs yet, but this is amazing to us. We don't understand how it could be that you lose Kawhi Leonard and in fact appear to be better. Can you explain this?
Well, we got a lot of practice last year. I think we played 22 games without him last year and had a 17-5 record. So we knew we could play okay. You know, last year was a little bit of a test run, but I just think that a lot of the guys have improved. Pascal Siakam's taken a step up. Fred VanVleet's a step up. Serge Ibaka's a step up. OG Anunoby's reinserted. He almost missed all of last year for various reasons. Guys are getting better, and they believe in themselves.
So you don't mind if I sit and repeat that I am amazed at how good you are this year, again, without Kawhi Leonard. If you had to point to one thing where you say, this is why we're clicking right now, one thing, what's that one thing?
Well, if I had to pick a thing, I would say it's defense. You know, this team really goes to play defense, and we can play a lot of different styles of defense, and we really read coverages. But if I had to pick a player, I'd say Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry, I know it's his 6th All-Star, but he does things that it's all about winning. I've never seen a guy play harder on the court than this guy, and he continues to do it night after night, and it rubs off on the rest of the guys.
Nick, a lot of the basketball world seems to be treating you guys right now like, oh, a nice little story. You think this is a hell of a lot more than that, I'm presuming.
Well, I think we're pretty good, Michael. I think the guys believe in themselves. I think there's some ceiling to get to yet. We're not perfect. We got improvements to make, and we've had a lot of injuries. I'd like to see our team whole. You know, I think if we can get lucky enough to get everybody healthy, I think we can. We're hard to beat. I think that's the biggest thing. We're hard to beat.
So I'm going to apologize for not having heard of you until last year. That's my fault. But it is written down here that you are known for making relentless adjustments, that's what you do. You make a lot of adjustments. Do you ever feel like you run out of adjustments? Do you ever feel like go, okay, this one's gone? Nah, we're done. This one's gone.
Well, is relentless like 2 or 3 a game? Is that relentless? We try to get the game to halftime and make a few adjustments. I think the guys expect them, but they can make them. That's the best thing. We can switch to coverages like anything in the middle of a game, right from timeout to timeout. And those guys, we got some smart guys. They say if you want to be a smart coach, surround yourself with smart players, and we got some.
Nick, Tony didn't mind embarrassing himself by saying he hadn't heard of you until last year, but the journey that you went on to get to this point, and you come into Toronto, you win the whole thing. The franchise had never done that, and now you got another terrific team. Is this at all how you expected it to go if you got the chance?
I'd love to tell you, yeah, it's exactly how I expected it to go. But, usually your first-time job, I was really fortunate, you and I have talked about it, to get my first job to be given such a good team. I mean, we really have good teams, and then we signed Kawhi and Danny Green, and we knew we were going to be good right from the start. Just really fortunate. And, I also coach the Canadian national team as well, and we got some good players coming there. I coached in the backwaters my whole life, and now I got 2 of the best jobs in the world at the same time, so it's pretty cool, fun for me.
There's so much fun going on around your team. One of them is the huge scarves, these winter scarves necessary in weather in places like Toronto and Chicago. Serge Ibaka has started this. I want a scarf. I'm like begging for one now. But it seems like it's more than just some sort of style statement, is it not?
Well, it seems like it. These guys really like each other. I think you and I have talked about being around that locker room sometimes, and it's an enjoyable place to be.
Okay, well, call me later. Oh. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. I'm good. Yeah. Girl, yeah. It's gonna be cold, cold, cold tomorrow. Huh? July. 22? Yep. Okay.
Wow. That's pretty sweet.
Cool. There we go.
That's awesome.
Where's the trailer go?
I love it. It's magic.
Brandman writes, if you like boneless wings, you dirty. Not anymore. B-Dubs completely reinvented their boneless wings. Now they're marinated and packed with so much meat, it doesn't make sense. Get here for the new boneless wings. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Join Planet Fitness now for only 25 cents down, $10 a month. Get tons of equipment and free fitness training, all for only 25 cents down, $10 a month. Join in club or at planetfitness.com. Hurry, deal ends Thursday, February 13th.
The Joseph A. Bank President's Day sale. Up to 60% off everything. All suits on sale starting at $199. All dress shirts and sports shirts for $39. Plus, up to 80% off on all clearance. The President's Day sale. Only at Joseph A. Bank.